Our first story of the series is all about the famous pitch at Croke Park and how it's replaced between matches and concerts.
One of the most notable things we see on TV on All-Ireland Final Day is the pitch here at Croke Park. It's one of the most iconic playing fields in Ireland, and every time you see it on television, it looks perfect, and it has to. After all, there can be over 1 million people watching it. Croke Park also hosts some of the biggest names in global entertainment. These artists play huge concerts here in the stadium. The stadium can hold over 80,000 people. So after a rough season of games and numerous concerts here in the stadium, it's no wonder the pitch gets a bit of a battering and needs replacement. But whose responsibility is it to replace the turf of Croke Park? And who's in charge of making sure the pitch is put back to pristine condition within a matter of days? That person is Stuart Wilson, the pitch manager. And the story of the hallowed turf at Croke Park doesn't actually start here at the stadium. This is where the story begins. This is the Croke Park Turf Farm, owned and run by the GAA. It's spread over 67 acres here in the Knoll in North County Dublin. They grow some 40,000 square metres of turf here. And to tell me how the GAA came to owning their own turf farm, it's Stadium Director Peter McKenna.
So we felt that it would be far better from an environmental point of view and from a risk aversion point of view to set up our own farm and grow our own turf. What you need is good expertise, and we have that in Stuart, our head groundsman. We wanted to get it close to Croke Park. You know, I think if we could get within 20 kilometres of Croke Park, that would be ideal from an environmental point of view. But we needed a soil that was of a certain type. We wanted a soil that was more sandy than not, and we needed a source of water. So the farm we selected in the Knoll, in Balbriggan, ideal on all counts.
When it comes to stadiums in Europe, Croke Park is the only one that owns its own turf farm and grows their own pitch. And contrary to what some people may think, it's a complex job growing specific turf for the GAA.
We're looking at the most hard-wearing grass to use because obviously we know that this is going to be moved into Croke Park. In sort of sports turf, we tend to use, especially in our climate, we'd be using perennial ryegrass.
And can you tell me about the science that goes into growing this grass?
So basically, we're monitoring this pretty much daily. So we have to keep an eye on the nutrition. So when we're growing, we're establishing from seed, and there'll be nutrients applied to it. We're just looking to slowly establish the turf and make sure it peaks in time, ready for when it moves into the stadium.
Does the speed of the GAA game demand a different surface?
What we're looking for with GAA sports really is we need traction, to be honest with you. It's one of the fastest turning speeds of sport that there is. And you'll see guys on a match day, they're literally turning 180 degrees at full tilt. So we need to ensure that when we're selecting the turf, that our traction levels are really, really good, because we want the players to have the stability.
So what's involved in the harvesting process?
It's going to take about 7 days in total for the whole process, the removal through to the turf being completed. We're under serious time pressure with this, so we basically have to be done as quickly as possible. We've got fixtures coming up very soon, so the sooner the turf goes in, the sooner it's got a chance to root, settle in, and we can get it prepped up ready for matches.
How would you describe this 7-day process?
It's quite stressful, and we're working very long hours to get the work done from pretty much from light in the morning till dark at night. But we've been planning this for months and months. And that's the beauty of having this turf farm, is that we can actually roll turf and we can have it laid within 3 or 4 hours.
So what happens next in the process? Well, it's all go in the stadium, as the groundkeepers there race to get the ground prepared for resurfacing. They remove the old damaged turf, till and prepare the soil, and anxiously wait for the arrival of the new grass. They only have a matter of hours from when the grass is actually harvested to get it laid.
We basically have a machine that comes in and pushes the turf against the next run of turf, so everything's tightly knitted together. We basically then go along with with forks, really, we're snagging the turf, just making sure that every single join is matching in and the levels are really precise on it, and then we move on to rolling the turf, brushing, and then we'll literally mow the turf nearly every day, and we have to make sure that this is perfect,
So do you take pride on All-Ireland Day seeing the pitch on TV?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think probably the key thing is that we know that everybody's either watching it on television or in the stands. So we'll be here working hard on a match day to make sure it's presented to the best it possibly can be. We take a huge amount of pride in the pitch and making sure that it's in perfect condition for the players.
Now you might think this is the end of the Croke Park Turf Farm story, but it's not. Its role is not just to produce turf for the stadium, it's a whole lot more. So I need to find out how the farm is central to the GAA's sustainability policy, and what does the future hold for this North Dublin farm.
One of our next projects is to see can we site a solar farm and then we become totally energy sustainable. So it's very much a journey. I suppose the spirit of sustainability, it permeates the whole organisation, and we're really proud that we're at the forefront of that.